Now, speaking of climate change and global warming, some Melbourne commuters were disrupted this morning by the usual global warming rabble. They call this a slow march. It looks pretty silly. Maybe it's an artistic interpretation of the idiot Green Left's long march through our institutions. I mean, surely our substandard schools and universities are to blame for a lot of the lunacy we're seeing here. Much of what these people say just doesn't make any sense at all. Just have a listen to this protester making a ridiculous and sickening link to the war in the Middle East.
You know, we need earth care, not warfare. There is intrinsic links between the fossil fuel industry and the military-industrial complex that creates war, and it creates war as part of extractivism. You know, we know that the US has started making deals with Israel to extract gas off the Gaza Strip in an attempt, under the guise of humanitarian aid.
Oh, this is just idiotic, of course, but it's also a disgusting misappropriation of the trauma and tragedy in Israel and Gaza for the climate action cause. They ought to be ashamed of themselves, but they won't be, of course. They barely understand what they're doing, let alone what it all means. The trouble is the feral street protesters are actually encouraged by people who should know better, like the former Portuguese socialist who now heads up the United Nations.
2023 is a year of reckoning. It must be a year of game-changing climate action. We need disruption to end the destruction. No more baby steps.
Yeah, it's world leaders like Guterres who promote disruption. It's only mere citizens like the rest of us who have to put up with it. These protests are going to be daily in Melbourne, apparently, for a while. Probably timed to coincide with the COP28 talkfest. I suppose not everyone can get a first-class flight to Dubai. But I want to show you another clip because it's pretty amusing about how it likes to link climate action now to Indigenous aspirations. And it's also pretty amusing because it just takes so long paying its dues to Indigenous issues that many people will have switched off before she gets to the actual climate stuff.
Morning, Extinction Rebellion and supporters. I'd like to start by acknowledging that we are here on Wurundjeri country and we are on stolen land, and sovereignty was never ceded. We pay respects to elders past and present and emerging, and acknowledge that we join a fight that has been going on for 250 odd years.
Good Lord. Indigenous issues, the Gaza conflict, I mean, anything goes under the climate action banner these days, doesn't it? What a farce.